Hello everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics, here with another comic review. So this is Crime Syndicate number 6. This is the last issue in this 6-issue miniseries. Again, written by Andy Schmidt, with art by Ken McCown. And so at the beginning, or rather at the end of the previous issue, so this is on EARTH-3, where the DC heroes, the characters who are normally DC heroes, are the villains, and the villains are the heroes. You know, it's like the mirror universe in Star Trek. Everything's reversed, right? So, at the end of last issue, the Lex Luthor of this world assembled a bunch of heroes to defeat the Crime Syndicate. And the Crime Syndicate had pretty much defeated them when Ultra Girl, this world's version of Supergirl, showed up. And of course, she's Ultraman's cousin. And she sided with Luthor and the heroes over Ultraman because she hates Ultraman for some reason. And so we pick up here in this issue, and they've taken the fight down to Earth. They were up in a satellite before, but somehow they've gotten back down to Earth. And Ultra Girl and Ultraman are fighting. And while that's going on, in another place, Power Ring, who is this world's Green Lantern, this is John Stewart. He's sort of struggling, and has been throughout this series, struggling with basically being a hero or a villain. And he kind of seems to want to be a hero, but the ring that he uses is evil and is like influencing him. And Sinestro, who is a good guy in this universe, he's trying to convince Stewart to be a good guy. Superwoman trying to convince him to be a villain. And they're on this world's version of Paradise Island, and they threaten him. These Amazons threaten him, and he kills them all. Then we go back to Ultra Girl and Ultraman, and you know, Ultra Girl is just beating the ever-loving crap out of Ultraman. Look, I mean, he's all busted up and bleeding. She doesn't have a mark on her. Apparently, somehow, you know, she's more powerful than him for, you know, some reason. And so then we go back to Superwoman and Power Ring and Sinestro. And together, Superwoman and Power Ring defeat Sinestro. And Power Ring turns evil, kills Sinestro. And he throws his lot in with the Crime Syndicate. Then we go back to Ultraman and Ultra Girl. And this is Luthor here who's getting involved. Again, I mean, just look at this. I mean, he looks like Rocky at the end of the first Rocky movie. She's just beating ever-loving snot out of him, and she doesn't have a mark on her. Whatever. Anyway, the Supergirl and Power Ring arrive, and they kind of bind her up, and then he's trying to plead with her and convince her to join up with him, and then she suddenly strokes out and dies. And Atomica, who is this world's version of the Atom, she got up into Supergirl's, you know, she shrank down, got up into Supergirl's brain, I guess, and killed her, which a Kryptonian, I don't know, would that really even work? I mean, the Kryptonians, it's not like it's just their skin that's invulnerable, you know, it's supposed to be like their whole body, so how did she really even do that? I don't know, that's kind of iffy to me. But anyway, at the conclusion of the story, it kind of touches base with all the characters here. And Owlman, who is this world's Batman, he's kind of assembling this group of... and these are obviously modeled after the Talons from the Court of Owls storyline, as they're kind of his agents who are going to patrol Gotham for him. We see Despero, or Despero, or rather, however you say it, in this universe. He gets Sinestro's ring somehow. And the Crime Syndicate, they decide to join forces. It's kind of not really clear why they're doing it. You know, there's not like there's any real compelling need for them to do it. They just sort of decide, okay, let's be a team, even though they're villains and they don't like each other. And then we see Atomica. Now, Atomica, she was involved with Johnny Quick, this guy here, who is this world's version of the Flash. He died last issue, and she sort of visits his grave to mourn him. And then the Crime Syndicate makes this announcement to the world, basically telling them, we're in charge now. We run this world. And you can either cooperate and do as we say or get in our way and we'll get rid of you. And it just kind of ends there. And then there's a backup story. And this is each one of these issues has had a backup story that tells the origin of one of the characters with art by Brian Hitch. And again, written by Andy Schmidt. And they're okay, but they're pretty brief. They're just sort of like 6-page little issues. There's not much to them, but it's Brian Hitch's art, so you can't complain. Anyway, it's Atomica telling her origin, how she was a petty criminal. She met Johnny Quick. They became a team. And then they raided some lab, and she got this serum and drank it, and it gave her her atom powers, her shrinking powers. And they were, kind of like in it for the thrills, they were just having fun and all that. And then she resents that she's angry that Johnny Quick was killed. And then we see that she's got Luthor of this Earth imprisoned. And then at the end, she kind of shrinks and goes up into his nose, which I think the implication is she's going to go up into his brain and kill him, I guess. So, like all these short stories, it's fine. It's just really hard to judge it much one way or the other. It's so brief. So as a whole, the series has been okay. The final issue is a little annoying. Again, Ultra Girl is just inexplicably more powerful and tougher than Ultraman for, reasons. And then the killing off of Johnny Quick, I just found kind of annoying. Because first of all, it's obviously just done so that they can replace him with Atomica to increase, the estrogen count in the Crime Syndicate. And, really, what is even the point of killing him? It's not like they're not going to just bring him back at some point. This is the third, maybe the fourth version of the Crime Syndicate? Because you had the original, who appeared in the Silver Age. And then the original Crime Syndicate, they were killed off during the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. Then, about a decade later, in the mid-90s, Grant Morrison, who was writing Justice League, did a new version of the Crime Syndicate. And they had several appearances from the mid-90s up into the early 2000s, maybe mid-2000s. And then they got killed off. Then you had Flashpoint about a decade ago. And then after Flashpoint, they introduced a new Crime Syndicate in the, Forever Evil crossover. But then I'm not even sure, because each one of the Crime Syndicate looked different. Obviously there were similarities, but they also were visually different. And this version looks very much like the third version of the Crime Syndicate from the New 52. That one even had Atomica in it. But again, that was like a decade ago, and in that crossover, the Crime Syndicate is already clearly a team. They're familiar with each other, but in this, it's like their origin story. So is this the same Crime Syndicate, or is this another? I'm not even sure. The DC continuity is pretty notional at this point, so it's a little confusing. But again, so this is at least the third, maybe fourth version of Johnny Quick, and you're not going to just make another one somewhere down the line, really. So what's the point of killing him? Overall, it's okay. The art is okay, but, it's hard to recommend it. It's just kind of annoying. It very much follows this just sort of, women are better than men because Ultra Girl can just beat the crap out. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like Rocky Balboa, and she doesn't have a mark on her. It's just kind of annoying. So anyway, I would say wait for the trade on this, and particularly maybe wait until it's at a discount store like Half Price Books or something. Anyway, that's my review. Thumbs down on this one. Let me know what you think of this one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you would, please hit the like button before you go. It does help the channel out. Also, please sub to the channel and hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you all next time.